Carlton and United Breweries and Datsun are bringing you Sevens Hall of Fame live from the Leonda Ballroom in Hawthorn. We hope our side is matching up with yours at home and vice versa, and I dare say we've probably started quite a few arguments as well. Let's proceed with our nominations now for the half-forward flank, and haven't we seen some brilliant half-forward flankers in the past 25 years? Our final three nominations came down to these. From Hawthorn, Graham Arthur. From St Kilda, Daryl Baldock. And from Carlton and St Kilda, Alex JESAULENKO.
Graham Arthur is a man no Hawthorn fan could ever forget. He led the Hawks to their very first premiership in 1961. In fact, he has captained Hawthorn longer than any other man in the club's history. Arthur was recruited as a young 18-year-old from Bendigo club Sandhurst back in 1955 and won Hawthorn's Best and Fairest trophy in his first year with the club. In his 13-year association with Hawthorn from 1955 to 1968, he played 237 games, the highlight of which would have to be that hard-earned premiership flag in 1961. Daryl Baldock played only 120 games for St Kilda in the mid-60s, yet his name still commands an awesome reverence some 13 years after he worked his magic. He was lured from Tasmania in 1962, was named captain of the Saints in 1963, and in 1966 was clutching St Kilda's first Premiership Cup after a thrilling duel with Collingwood. A short, balding and rather stout half-forward, Baldock was a magnificent ball handler who could create his magic at ground level or soar over the pack for a spectacular mark. Alex JESAULENKO. The name is enough to conjure up visions of magnificent skyscraper marks and impossible angle goals. It's a name that's revered wherever football is played in this land. Since his first match back in 1967, Jezza has displayed rare versatility. He became the first Carlton player ever to kick 100 goals in 1970. Yet in 1975, won his first Best and Fairest for the Blues as a tight-checking half-back. It's strange to imagine him in anything but the navy blue of Carlton. But Jezza is destined to finish his career a saint, still doing the impossible, but maybe not as often.
Our half-forward flankers. Ron Casey opens the envelope, and the first of them.
On one half-forward flank, Daryl Baldock.
Daryl cannot be here this evening, so we would ask, if we could, Verdun Howell to come up and accept the trophy for him. Daryl, of course, has progressed to the parliamentary situation in Tasmania, and his parliamentary business is keeping him from being here tonight. So we welcome Verdun Howell.
Verdun, you played alongside and with the great man for many games. Tell us about the magic of this man.
Well, I think it was an inspiration to play with two great players, and of course, being a Tasmanian, I've got to get a bit of a Tasmanian rap in, with Ian Stewart and Daryl Baldock. That they used to work football magic at St Kilda when we really needed it, of course. But Daryl is well known for his football prowess. He was a great leader. He was a great inspiration to all the players at St Kilda, and I think that Daryl's name, you know, is one that will live not for 25 years, but for a lot longer than that.
He was a great dry weather player, but would you say that he was an even better player in the wet?
I think Daryl's a great forward over his strength. I think you saw on your replays there just how he could shrug off players, a bigger stature, and the way he could sort of command the ball, and had the great ability to put his head over the ball, which takes a lot of courage. But he was such a great ball player and had the ability and the courage to back up his tremendous reading of the play. Ian Stewart and Daryl Baldock used to be something to really watch. I used to stand at full-back and didn't get very much work some days because they would just command the game so brilliantly, it was worth seeing.
Verdun, thank you for joining us on behalf of Daryl Baldock, half-forward flanker on Sevens Hall of Fame.
Well, Verdun said Daryl was really something to watch. Let's relive a few memories of the great Daryl Baldock in action. Here he is.
Forward where Potter goes for it. Baldock also beating them all down on the ground. Oh, look at that beautiful fork. His kick to Waters. Waters the hand pass to Thompson. Wasn't good football. Baldock comes in trying to get the ball away for St Kilda. He's found the goal area now. Picked up by Baldock. He gets the goal. No, he can't pick it up. It's over towards Baldock. Baldock tackled by Gillard, but look at this boy go. A left footer at goal, and it's there.
Tarkovsky has it. His kick is smothered. Struggle up towards Baldock. And look at this fella go. He's brilliant. He tricked the umpire and all.
Turn puts a big kick, puts it up towards Austin. He can't mark it. Baldock's got it. Mr. Magic himself. Here he comes. He's messing around with it. He grabs it this time. He swings around, puts it on the ground once. Has a shot with his left foot.
Pressed by Pryor. Pryor comes through very solidly there. Puts Stewart on the ground. Baldock picks up. He's ready to ball by Egan. No free kick. Baldock. Silly lad.
Well played. Daryl Griffiths, he's in everything. There's his kick down towards Baldock. It's Baldock's. Oh no, he never played it. Oh golly, but he's Baldock back to the trouble. Gets out of trouble. Well played.
A kick behind the play. Baldock takes it away. He's grabbed.
Oh, should have been a free to Baldock.
He's still got it. Moran in there, number 15. Good play. McLean also has a chance here. They'll break away to Baldock. Baldock gets a long kick in towards the full forward area. Dietrich is there. He shepherds.
Come off, Baldock comes out to meet it. Farman's with him. In they go. Farman has the set. Baldock is still battling on. He's grabbed. Baldock is still going. The Saints skipper steadies. He shoots further downfield. This plays who came in to fill the full forward position. A pick up here. Sends the ball forward, and it looks like Baldock who threw himself forward.
Well, some say they had to change the rules to beat Daryl Baldock, our first half-forward flanker, and Ron, our second.